Hey San Diego, welcome back to the Apartment Geek Weekly. I'm your host Chris Robinson, and it's nice to be back. I took 2 to 3 weeks off and was in the mountains doing some snowboarding, not the full time, but kind of a couple little trips, Park City, Vail, and Mammoth this last weekend with a really core group of real estate, kind of forward-thinking, real estate-oriented businessmen. Really neat, kind of synergetic group, and so it's good to be back. And I'm this morning talking about something that I'm going to call the psychology of expansion, growing, buying more units, and I think it's relevant right now in light of kind of a bull market that we've been in for 10, 11 years. And the big question that I'm asking myself and people are asking me and I'm hearing is, what should I always be, should I be saving my money now for a downturn, basically? And it's interesting now because of what the last experience that we saw, which was a major recession in 8, 9, 10. Apartment values didn't really go down a whole lot because rents kind of stayed stable, and values with well-located assets kind of just cruised along, call it flat, maybe a tad dip, but more or less flat. The right answer, so do you wait for something to happen and then kind of try to pounce on opportunities as a real estate investor who's trying to expand? Or I think the correct answer, and I'm going to go with this, is you always are in the market, you're always buying. And I think this is important for me to really kind of soak in, and for I think a lot of people that have not been active for a number of months or maybe years because of some anticipation of a downturn. I don't think that's going to happen. And I think fundamentally with apartment rentals, and this is my disclaimer, I'm talking about San Diego. You can also apply this to other really well located areas, but this is for San Diego. If we're going to Oklahoma City or the Midwest or something, I think those are, you've got to get in and get out, and this philosophy is different. In San Diego, if a deal crosses your radar and it more or less works, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but you feel somewhat comfortable about it, you think you can get to a decent return within maybe 12 months. Right now with the rent control situation, the runway is longer to hit our goals because we have more hoops to jump through. If you see something that generally makes sense, I would purchase it. The debt is so cheap. There's different lenders who come and kind of talk with us and let us know what they're doing. And there's 5-year, 7-year, 10-year programs, principal interest only, and the rates are like insane. I mean, they're sub 4, 3.5, sub 4 on even longer term fixed things. So always stay in the market. If you talk to like extremely wealthy people who own hundreds or thousands of units, I think you'll always see them buying, even when things are expensive. The little thing I'm thinking about right now is in San Diego is things are always going to be expensive, even in 06, 07, at kind of the height of the last market. And if you look at where values are now, they're more or less double what they were in the height of the last market upturn. So in 08, 9, 10, there was opportunities because it was really hard to get financing and the banks were in distress. And that probably will not happen again. Fundamentally, we're looking really solid. So psychology of an investor who does want to grow, I think you got to just feel comfortable with what locations you like, what returns you want to go for. Again, we're owning apartments for return. I think people need to be real cognizant of that, and continue buying and continue moving things around. If an asset has gone up in value and you have more equity, do some simple math. Look at what your cash flow is on that property. Divide it simply by what your estimated equity is. If that's less than 5 or 6%, you should look at refinancing that, pulling cash out, putting new debt on it, or selling that, hopefully through me, and going into a 1031 exchange and just going into buying more doors. The common trend that we see, we sit down with so many people, investors that have been in the business for 6 months or literally 50 years, or more with some older clients, is you want more doors. So if you have 4 and you've seen a good uptick, sell that and go into an 8, a 10 unit, hold that for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, maybe refinance it and keep it if it's a great asset. If not, sell that and go into a 18 or a 25 unit. And so I think, psychologically or up here, always be in the market, always be buying. If you're in San Diego, you want to be in San Diego long term. That's the recipe, I think, for long-term success in this business. If you wait and you think things are going to happen, there's a small chance it could, but I wouldn't bet on that. So thanks for tuning in. We've got some exciting stuff coming up, so stay tuned in and excited about the Apartment Geek episodes, and hope to talk with you soon. Bye.